what a show it will be today. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Not only are we going to talk about Sony finally coming to their senses and saying, hey, maybe this isn't working because Kraven ain't tracking to do very well. First reactions are out, pretty much going as we think. And Sony goes, oh, all right, we tap out. So we'll discuss whether or not we think that's a good idea. There's a lot of other things going on in the news. Happy Gilmore 2, wrapping, done. And 28 years later, that trailer hit, and we'll discuss that and more. But very excited today because I'm joined by, if you're a Schmoedown fan, two Schmoedown legends. If you're just a people person, two legends, both Clarke, Wolfe, Samm, Levine, joining me on the show here today. It's the Kristian Harloff show. Sam's making as much noise as he can, banging on pots and pans. I should have told him to mute it. Other than that, here we go. Here's the intro. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Kristian Harloff show, and it is Wednesday, and what a special Wednesday it is. Joining me on the show today, she was live in studio last time she was here, returning guest, Clarke Wolfe. Hello, Clarke.
Hey, everyone. Good morning. Just me being a good guest and not making noise at all. That was 100% Sam.
That's right.
I'm very happy to be here.
It was. And America's top chef, Samm Levine, is here. Hello, Sam.
That's right, Clarke. That's right. Yep, that was totally me.
Well,
everybody saw it.
After what
hello.
What you did to the Yankees, I blame you.
That was not my fault. I followed the rules. I didn't bother. After they won the pennant, I didn't send you a text.
I think it was too late at that point.
It was
a little too late.
No. I will not. I can't take it.
It's fine. I need to find any kind of blame that there is. You know what's funny, Sam, is that I'm actually not that upset about the Soto thing.
Nor should you be.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money on him. Anyway,
way too much. Yeah.
I don't want to bore Clarke to tears. It's nice to have everybody here, and we're going to talk about a lot of different things inside of the movie news space. And the other thing that I haven't even told you guys I know both of you so well, you're going to enjoy it even more. So we do like a competition here. The first hour, we basically just do the news, the news stories, the movie news, and then we'll talk to you guys about the great project that you have coming up. Probably start with that in just a second. But then once we get to the second hour, we do a competition where during the entire show, fans will put in their questions, throw in the super chats to do whatever it is. And what we've been doing is the co-hosts, I have different co-hosts every day. They've been kind of competing to see who wins the week. Well, you guys get to compete against Rocha. Sam, you get to try to beat him again. You try to beat Rocha once again. So how many questions?
One thing that brings this boy joy.
That's right.
In trivia?
No, not in trivia. There's just there's a bunch of the fans ask questions. By the end of the show, let's say that you got right now, currently, and before we even started, I believe that you guys have around. Give me a second. I can tell you. The fans already have asked 13 questions, which is a good start. There's 13 questions
great.
already in there, and so I think Rocha hit 62 and. Rocha hit 62. So you guys have to beat Rocha.
Right.
And then we'll see if anybody else can beat you guys. I don't know. Two legends, but we have a lot to talk about as far as movie news goes. But the whole Clarke, last time you were here, we were talking about all the various projects that you have in general, and you had told me kind of off air about what you and Sam were working on together, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds exciting. I'd love to have you guys on." And you're like, "Oh, we'd love to come on," and here we go. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is exactly?
Yes, Fiendsgiving. Look at our wonderful art. By the way, Schmoedown fans will recognize Brian E. Ward's wonderful talents.
Yes.
So yes, we Sam and I have teamed up to crowdfund an original holiday slasher movie. So right now, we are crowdfunding for the opening sequence, the opening 10 pages, where we meet Sam's character. Sam is starring and co-producing with me, and so we meet Sam's character. It is the night before Thanksgiving, and he encounters a masked assailant who becomes the Gobbler, our wonderful Thanksgiving themed slasher villain.
I love that.
And I'm really excited. So I'm writing and directing, and I just wrapped up my festival run for my short film A Shining Example, and we had some nice wins, and so this is going to be fun. And look, I know, Kristian, you are and Sam too, not the biggest quote unquote horror fans, but I think that there's a lot that comedy fans, if you enjoy Thanksgiving movies, holiday movies, like we're playing in all of those sandboxes. So I think that this is going to be something that all audiences will enjoy.
I like good movies. So that's, and
exactly.
This sounds like a good movie. But Samm, tell me about how because you guys, if the answer is yes, I've created so many relationships in Samm's life. Did you and Clarke meet through Schmoedown?
I believe we did.
Yes, that makes sense. So tell me about when she approaches. You guys also hosted the show together, obviously, the DC show. When does Clarke come to you with this? When do you say, sign me up? How does it all go down?
Oh, wow. So I feel like when we were still doing DC Daily was the first time she and I sort of talked about anything like this. And I know we put a pin in it after Eli Roth had his film Thanksgiving come out. We thought, okay, I guess that's that. But then Clarke's like, wait a minute, that's ridiculous. How many Christmas horror movies are there? How many Halloween horror movies are there? There is more than enough room for another entry into a Thanksgiving horror film, and ours is totally different. And so it was a while ago that she first mentioned it to me, and we've gone over some machinations of how to make this thing work, and this was the one that made the most sense. Was involving the great horror-loving, filmmaking interested community to get behind the film like this.
Go ahead, Clarke.
Yeah, no, our backer rewards, I think, are the thing that of course, I'm excited to make the movie, and I know Samm is too. But for those of you who are listening or interested in this, our backer rewards are not like a Blu-ray or a signed poster. We actually are bringing you into the process on how to make a movie. So we are live streaming from pre-production, live streaming from VFX tests, live streaming from set. You can actually watch us during production. Plus, we've created a Discord server so that you guys can talk to us and we can talk to you, but also you can talk to each other. Because I know that my experience in the movie talk world, whether it was AMC Movie Talk, Collider Movie Talk, the Schmoes, any of that, I would meet fans all over the country. And it's not that they were necessarily filmmakers. They were just fascinated by the art of filmmaking. And that, honestly, like this community watching this show right now is where that idea came from. And so I think our backer rewards are really special, and I think they're really unique. And I think that you get your money's worth and it's an ongoing process for sure.
I love that. I love the idea that they get to be there with you guys and see pre-production and be really part of the process from the beginning to the end. I think that's special. And especially I get on this show, and I'm sure we'll get some in the freaking questions. I get Schmoedown questions all the time. I get, Schmoes questions, things that people that want to see, old reunions and things of that nature. But I think that having you guys teaming up for the fan base in general that does, are familiar with you on that side is absolutely beneficial. And for the ones who are just horror fans that maybe don't know who you are, that alone is something, oh, wait, I get to see a horror movie and how it's kind of put together and comedy. And Sam's known to be funny from here and there. So, there is a clip of you going around, though. Did you see it? Have you seen it? It's from Not Another Teen Movie. It's been bouncing around on my freaking algorithm.
Oh boy.
It's like I'm like, there he is again. And there's from the stuff that you've done, I would only probably tell you this because A, when you're promoting stuff, and B, when you're not on camera. Sam's very talented. He's a very funny guy. I think the world of Samm. So I loved when Clarke told me that you guys were teaming up, because I think the world of the both of you. I think you're both very talented, and I'm excited to see what you guys can do with this.
Thank you, Kristian.
Thanks, buddy. We're rolling on that, so I'd like someone to grab that video for me.
Yeah, that's the one that's going to get shared. So do we have so people who are watching right now, or people watching on the replay, Clarke, what do they do? They want to get involved?
Yes. So you can look in the show notes here on this video. There is a link to the Indiegogo campaign, or you can just go to Indiegogo.com and type in Fiends Giving, FIENDS Giving. You'll also notice that one of our reward tiers is the opportunity to play movie trivia with Samm and I. We thought some of the Schmoedown friends would appreciate that opportunity. Yeah. So we've got a ton of different options, a ton of different reward tiers. But yeah, you can visit Samm Instagram and my social media. It's all over there as well. But we're an Indiegogo campaign, and the name of the movie is Fiends Giving.
There you go. There you go.
There it is.
There you go. Well, again, Brian E. Ward doing a great job there. Okay, well, good. That is very exciting, and I'm excited to hear more about it, and can't wait to see when it comes to fruition, and will. So let's get it going, guys. Make sure you help out Fiends Giving Fiends Giving. I can't even say it together. I'm sick. I'm getting better, though.
I can hear it.
I
can hear it in your voice.
I'm getting better, but I'm still. What's that?
Nothing.
No, that cleared up. All right,
good.
All right, let's get to this first story. And that story, of course, is that Sony is taking a knee. Sony halts its own Marvel Universe plans. Sony's Spider-Man universe is reportedly being put on ice once J.C. Chandler's Kraven the Hunter hits cinemas, reports The Wrap. The shared universe, mostly known as the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, I'm not saying that, before changing to the less memorable SSU abbreviation, involves characters commonly associated with Spider-Man in Marvel Comics. It began in 2018 with Venom and continued through 2021 with the last Venom, Morbius, and this year Madam Web. Kraven the Hunter, which opens this Friday, marks the last, while the Venom films have been commercially successful and have the Defenders, Morbius, Madam Web, and they're just plain on disastrous. Several different projects were announced to be in development, but none appear to have made any progress. The sources say that the studio is now focusing in efforts on the fourth Spider-Man film and the animated Spider-Man Beyond the Spiderverse universe. One key difference is all three of these projects lean into rather than away from the web slinger's central appeal. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so let's talk about this in general. Like, I don't know if you guys have any plans to even see Kraven. I would assume the answer is no. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just interject really fast?
Sure.
I would love to get both of your opinions on this and also what chat has to say.
Sure.
I feel like when this first Kraven trailer dropped, it was everywhere. I could not stop seeing this trailer. And then it just disappeared. And then I realized this weekend, or I realized it's coming out this weekend because I saw a headline that said the box office projections were really soft. And I thought to myself, why did they push this so hard like 2 months ago? And then I feel like the press has just like fallen off a cliff. Am I the only one that noticed that?
It seemed, well, there was a big push when it first came out because I think people didn't know what to expect from it. And then the trailer was actually decent. At least I thought, in my opinion, with the rated R trailer, what they had then, because of the last Venom, Madam Web, all this stuff, people were just like, who cares? And I think we're in a place with comic book movies where it's just like, unless you really have something that hits, who cares? And then Sony started getting desperate. I mean, maybe you don't even know this. Last week, they released the first 9 minutes of this movie.
I did see that. Yeah,
okay.
I saw that. I haven't watched them, but I did see that they did that. But to me, that usually says that they are confident about the movie, right?
What it would mean to me is, yes, they are confident about the movie, but they're not confident that people will want to see it. So they're they basically go, hey, look how good this is. Here's the first 9 minutes. Please go see it. And from what we're hearing, neither one of those things are true. Well, I guess one of the things are true. Nobody really wants to see it. But the other part of it is that it's just not getting good responses. But Sam, was this on your radar at all? Do you care? I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's a star. So what's going on here?
I don't know, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I didn't know this movie existed until today.
Wow. That's a problem. That's a problem.
And that's half joke, half true. I really didn't know about it. I knew about it because you sent me some notes about stuff we were going to discuss, and I went, what the hell is this movie?
But you know what's crazy? But what's crazy about that
I'm on the internet every day.
And your wife is really into this stuff.
Yeah.
And the fact that you didn't know about it at all, that's interesting. And bad.
Yeah.
And bad. But it carries over to the idea then, Sony says, finally, tap it out. We're not doing movies anymore. This is the right move, right, Clarke?
Yes, 100%. Look, it's hard we talked about this last time I was on the show. It's hard to make a movie. So I try we had a couple of laughs at Madam Web's expense, right. And, that's fine. Like, whatever, it is what it is. But I try to be respectful. But that said, Sony's track record is not great within the Spider-Man MCU. universe, especially since the Marvel Cinematic Universe looks like what it looks like now.
Right.
I do think that audiences expect more. I think that the MCU, especially in like its heyday, when it was really raising the bar, it really made audiences go, okay, if you're going to show me something like a shared universe, or you're going to show me these, these movies that are coming out every couple of months, and I'm supposed to get invested, then you all really need to show up. It's not good enough to just put out a superhero movie
Right.
every 9 months, so they haven't pulled it off. They haven't done it successfully. And I was thinking too about Venom.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, it was the first Venom movie kind of an anomaly, like anomaly, like right place, right time, right casting. And I mean, but I don't know, like what made Venom work for audiences that everything else just hasn't?
It's a great question, because Sam, I thought that the first Venom, I didn't like, I haven't really been a fan of the movies in general, but I understand why they hit, because I think that the first Venom almost recaptured what superhero movies were in like the late 90s. It had that kind of on the nose humor, knew what it was, didn't take itself too seriously. The third one basically becomes a buddy comedy. And it essentially the whole franchise is, but it knows what it wants to be, even if you don't like it or not. But I think that that's why they kind of captured an audience, but I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, the first one is entertaining. And obviously it was very commercially successful. And so, it's, I don't want to say it never happens, but I think we all know it's incredibly rare if a movie or a sequel to a movie doesn't do very well financially. That's usually the end of it. So, this is still a money-driven business.
Right.
So it's, if the numbers are not coming in well, if all their projections and all their research is looking like continuing with this universe is just going to consistently lose them more money than they make, then yeah, they got to pull the plug.
They also don't have the right chefs in the kitchen, in the executive kitchen. I think that's kind of what Clarke was saying before. It's like you got to have it. And Sam, as far as I've been talking about this with like Lucasfilm, and I look at it when it comes to like a baseball team. Like, yeah, you've got everybody on the roster. They can hit home runs. You got great pitchers, but none of them are being utilized the right way. They're all like, you got the wrong people in the wrong lineup. You got people that are playing in the wrong positions. You got things that are just going left and right, taking pitchers out at the wrong time, and it's a mess. And that's essentially what I think is going on in Lucasfilm. And I think, as far as, I can't say all of Sony, but I can say when it comes to this particular thing, that's exactly what's happening. And good on them for going, it's just not working. Let's stop losing money. So, yeah. And then as far as continuing now, and I think going down that road, actually still, then the executives look and go, okay, well, we own the Spider-Man. They're not going to give up that IP. There's no world they're going to give that up. And because of the deal that they do have in place with Marvel, where they go, okay, we're using Tom Holland. You guys can use Tom Holland. That means that we still keep making Spider-Man movies. They're still Sony movies. Sit back on a beach, Tom Rothman, go like this and go, okay, Kevin Feige, make us money. Go ahead, Clarke.
I have never understood why Sony just doesn't do that.
Right, or just let them make your money.
Truly, I mean, but my only theory, and this is like very sweaty, but my theory is that when Sony decided that they were going to really get into this game, it was at the time when it felt like these movies could not fail. It felt like everybody needed their own interconnected franchise. It felt like everybody needed their own streamer. And now that that bubble has burst and a couple of years have gone by and we are in this like time of consolidation, cooler heads are prevailing, and like, oh, on second thought, yeah, why don't you just go do all of the work and then we'll cash the checks? Seems like a really great idea. It's like hubris, right? Like, yeah, I mean,
you would hope so, but the only problem with that theory is that they're still getting involved with, like, because the rumors are that Kevin Feige wanted a more grounded Spider-Man movie that we all know of, because the last movie ends with him having to go into New York and be that Spider-Man that we know, the street level Spider-Man. Like, that in theory sounds great. We've seen the big multiverse stuff and all the different characters and all that. Let's get more ground level. And everyone's like, let's do that. Tom Holland want to do that. Feige want to do it. Apparently Rothman in the group doesn't. So we're getting another big, huge Spider-Man movie because Sony can still have some power because they own the IP. So they're not, Sam, just sitting back collecting the check like they should. But, you know, the Spider-Man thing that they have with both Tom Holland and then the animated with Lord and Miller, they still have success.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, Spider-Man. If we're running off a list, we say Spider-Man, Morbius, Madam Web,
Right.
Venom. Obviously, Spider-Man is going to be the king of that mountain. So they want to try to protect the most valuable thing they have. But I guess so. What's the best way to protect it? And I don't know. I mean, this is an industry where a lot of people on the daily have to justify the existence of their job in the studio and money world. So I think, I can't name names. I don't know who specifically is in charge of this sort of thing, but they're not going to give it up that easily.
No, and it's the same thing because they got involved because as Clarke was saying with the multiverse stuff, and the shared universes, they tried to catch on to it when everybody else was, but they've essentially had the Spider-Man property during the what I always say Topher Grace, but it's not Topher Grace, Tobey Maguire. They've had it since that time, and they almost lost Spider-Man in 2012 because Raimi was supposed to make Spider-Man 4, and they couldn't. They were like a day out of shooting or something like that. They were ready to go, and then they lost the fourth movie. Because they couldn't Raimi didn't want to do what they were doing. Nobody could get along with it. They lost it. So if they didn't make a movie by that time, by 2012, they were going to lose the IP. So enter Andrew Garfield. Then they put out these 2 movies, and they were still able to do it. But there's a way to hold on to it. And as Sam said, people are going to go see Spider-Man. People are going to check out Spider-Man. There's no doubt about it. And during your list, by the way, of the other ones, you again forgot Kraven the Hunter.
Oops.
Oops, indeed. And I think that's what it's going to be this weekend, is a big oops for Kraven the Hunter. So I don't know. I ask you guys, what do you think about all this when it comes to Sony, when it comes to the Spiderverse and all these different things that they're doing? Can they span off and do other things? Because what do they do once the MCU and the Spider-Man stuff is over with? Granted, it's going to be quite a bit. They locked Tom Holland into another contract, but go ahead and put your comments in there. Let me know. And before we go to break, I also want to say currently, the 2 Schmoedown legends already have 19 questions before we even got into the comment section. So they're trying to beat Roke at 62. See if you can make that happen. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and I want to tell you guys about our 3 wonderful sponsors here today, both via Public Rec and, of course, Tushy. Here you go. Hey, Mando. I love Mando, and I've been telling you guys about Mando for a little bit. Like, it's a great deodorant. I love it. It just makes you feel good, and you can put it anywhere. You put it on your pits, you put it on your nuts, anywhere you want. And I wasn't sure how Mando would work. I wasn't sure. I had my ones that I liked beforehand, and I was suggested by some people, you got to try it out. I said, all right, I'm going to try it out. And it's created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block odor all day, and it controls odor for up to 72 hours. I love in the morning, I just know it, I see it. It says, oh, there it is. It's my Mando. I know I'm going to be safe. I know people around me are going to be safe. You can choose from a variety of fresh scents. They have bourbon leather, Cloverwood, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, the whole thing. So there's a starter pack for you guys. It comes with the solid stick, cream tube deodorant, all that, and more. You got to head on over there. Link is in the description. And you're going to love it. You can control your body odor anywhere with Shop Mando. And you get $5 off your starter pack, over 40% off with that promo code Kristian at mandopodcast.com/Kristian. Hashtag MandoPod. You guys know the Perfect Gene. I've told you about the Perfect Gene, and I love the Perfect Gene. I don't know. For me, I'm always looking for comfortability. And it's cold right now also. And it is the season for the Perfect Gene. Stretchy enough for second or even third helpings, soft enough to go full couch potato, and stylish enough to wear every holiday gathering. The Perfect Jeans are, well, perfect for all your winter activities. Perfect Jean has saved 400,000 men's nuts from suffocating in stiff, uncomfortable jeans, and the number is going up every single day. So I got them, and my wife compliments me on all the time. Another reason that I start really using them a lot, because I like when my wife compliments me. Perfect Jean does not stop there, though. They have t-shirts. They revolutionized the t-shirt. They always have free shipping, exchanges, returns, perfect for the holiday seasons. It is time to finally stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans. You go to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners will get 15% off your first order plus free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. Got to use that code BIGTHING15 at checkout. 15% off now for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with the promo code BIGTHING15. You're going to purchase. They're going to ask you where you heard about them. Support our show and tell them that we sent you. F your khakis. Go get the perfect jean. Make sure you are getting the right gift for everybody this holiday season, everybody, because this is some holiday gifting 101. Why you want to drop 2 or 3 Benjamins on a cooler that's going to get some of the time when you can spend a fraction of that cost on a bidet that your whole household will use all the time. I'm telling you, I swear by these things. A household full of holiday guests is a beautiful thing until you realize that they're all endlessly wiping their butts in your bathroom.
Hey-oh.
That's right. Give your toilet a fighting chance and install a Tushy bidet. And my favorite part about it is I'm to be honest, I feel classy using it. I feel like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not an animal anymore. Wiping my rear end with Tushy paper that's hurting my butt. I just feel so much better than traditional toilet paper. I feel better, I feel cleaner. It's so much easier. To install it was a lot easier because I don't install things well, but I installed this one well. And right now, the Tushy Bidet is dropping deep discounts on bidet life essentials that'll transform your bathroom habits and your butt for life. Now is the time to back away from boring gifts and dirty habits to save on luxury lifestyles upgrade that you're going to use every day. So you visit HelloTushy.com to see this week's saving on bidets, bundles, and install it today. You go to HelloTushy.com/bigthing and grab your deal before it's gone. And don't forget to give us a shout out while you're there. Give the gift of practical luxury that benefits everyone in your household. Go to HelloTushy.com/bigthing for the best gift this holiday season. Tush high. All right. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors here today. And all the links are in the description. So thank you guys for supporting the show. I really appreciate that. I got a message yesterday. Somebody who said that they bought themselves a bidet. I love that. So let's get moving to some other topics. But before we do, Clarke, Wolfe, you had something else you wanted to say about your wonderful project.
Yes. So this weekend on Saturday the 14th, not Friday the 13th, Saturday the 14th, Samm Levine and I are going to be doing a live stream of the Samm Levine starring classic horror film Pulse.
Nice.
You said a lot of things there. A lot of things that might not be accurate.
So at 6:30 p.m. Pacific on my YouTube, hosted on my YouTube channel. So you can click, I'm in the chat, talking with you guys and everything, but go ahead and click there and hit that subscribe. And then you're going to notice we'll also tweet out the links, but 6:30 p.m. Pacific, Samm and I are going to join the chat. And then at 7, we are going to press play on the 2006 Pulse starring Kristen Bell and Samm Levine. And I have never seen this movie, so I am going to be reacting live to all of this. And Samm, I don't think you've seen this movie in a while, right?
It's been at least 15 years since I've seen this one.
Wow.
Great. All
right. Well, there you go. That's a lot of fun. So look, so many different things you guys can do there. So I'm so glad that there's so many different options. That's amazing.
Yes.
Okay. So this was one I picked. There's 2 stories that I picked. One was for Clarke, and one was for Samm. And maybe I'm wrong that it's not a Samm story, but I felt like it would be. And that's Happy Gilmore 2. Am I right, Samm?
You're very correct.
Okay. Sandler wraps Happy Gilmore 2 and Jay Kelly. So comedian Adam Sandler has wrapped production on 2 high-profile projects likely to release next year. First up, he confirmed that filming has wrapped for Happy Gilmore Part 2 during an appearance on The Dan Patrick Show. In addition, he confirmed that musician Eminem and retired golf pro Jack Nicklaus have cameos in the project. As for when we might see it, Sandler indicated that it won't be arriving for the July 4th weekend, but adds we're trying to get it done in time for July. Production has also wrapped on Noah Baumbach's comedy drama Jay Kelly for Netflix, with producer Amy Pascal confirming the news to the trade. Baumbach penned the script with actress Emily Mortimer, who also appears in the project, which was shot in New York City, London, and Tuscany. Plot specifics are under wraps. Clooney and Sandler lead the cast, which also includes Laura Dern, Greta Gerwig, Riley Keough, I think so,
Yes.
Patrick Wilson, and more. All right. So let's talk about Happy Gilmore 2.
Let's.
All right. So obviously, I am very excited for this movie. However, I don't have high expectations for the film, but I do, because I say this is the movie I say, and the reason why to clarify that. Coming to America 2 is the first thing I think of, because it's just it's a certain magic that was captured. That was an 80s movie, it was a late 80s movie, but the magic just wasn't captured in the way, and I think Craig Brewer gave it respect, but I just don't think he had the magic behind it. Now, this is the same guy who's doing, is the same director directing part 2?
Dennis Dugan.
It is, right? Didn't Dugan do the
I
first
believe
one?
so. Yeah.
No, it is not.
Oh,
It is
okay.
not. And do you know how I know that?
I didn't know that.
I know how you know that.
How?
Because
She
I auditioned for this
for it.
movie.
Oh, did you really? Oh, that's.
I play golf. And
I knew that. I knew that.
Yes. So I auditioned for this movie, and Dennis is not directing. But the director is a gentleman who is a big part of a comedy group, and I cannot remember his name.
Okay.
But
Will Ferrell.
yes, it's Will Ferrell. That's correct.
Perfect.
You got it.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so just to interject,
great.
new director.
Great news. So new director. So we don't know whether or not this. I'd assume if Adam brought him on, he's going to know the kind of humor. But Adam Sandler is in his mid-50s now, right? And you're just in different energy from your late 20s, early 30s, or whatever he was, and into your 50s. And I'm sure that's what's going to reflect in Happy Gilmore 2, because if it doesn't, it could be an issue. But I'm rooting for this movie. I want this to be, because there's the other movie that I bring up, Sam, is probably the latest Beverly Hills Cop, right? Which I think entertaining, fun, had a very different tone than the Martin Brest movie from '84. So go ahead.
Yes, but so did 2 and 3.
3, definitely. 2 had Tony Scott took some of that. It still felt like it was more of an action movie. It felt way more of an action movie, but it still felt like the same movie. There's when he's riding around in the golf cart in the last movie, it felt like a silly comedy. He's getting maced, and it felt like a goofy comedy. But there's stuff that didn't happen with his daughter that worked. But anyway, point is, do you think, are you optimistic, I should ask?
I am optimistic, only because I have such a love of Happy Gilmore, the first one.
Sure.
I have such a soft spot in my heart for Sandler and that whole group.
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy who directed it, I had to look it up. His name is Kyle Newacek.
Okay.
And he just turned 40 this past year.
Okay.
So, I'd like to think that I think the thing you run into is, and I'm trying to think of the most polite way to say this, but I can't imagine what I'm going to find humorous at 65 is what I'm going to have found that funny at 25.
Right. Exactly.
And that's just life.
And the question is, who are they making the movie for? That's the
exactly.
question. Yeah.
Are you making it for 65-year-olds or 25-year-olds or what have you, especially with comedy? So I think if you get somewhat younger people in there, or maybe people who can help bridge the gap between the ages, that's probably going to be your best bet. And a lot of good people have come up through the Sandlerverse.
Yeah, Clarke, I think that there's a way to do what Sam's talking about to kind of bridge, if you will. I mean, look at the first few seasons of Cobra Kai, right? Cobra Kai had to blend the nostalgia and the idea of the 1980s movie. And if you were 14, 15 years old watching it, most of the stuff's going to fly over your head. However, with the introduction of a lot of the young cast, and you brought in a whole new generation. Now, I don't think they're necessarily doing that with this one, or maybe they are. I don't know. But what do you think? Do you think that this movie, did you get a chance to read the script, or you just saw sides?
Yeah, well, with this, it was all dummy sides anyway, so it's all made up.
Yeah.
But what I would say as a fan, specifically, is I actually think that Happy Gilmore is arguably the best golf movie ever made, and including Caddyshack, including Tin Cup.
Wow.
And the reason I say that is because every golfer thinks like Happy Gilmore when they are out on the green and they're missing the putt and they're just screaming in their head.
Just get in the hole.
Are you too good for your home? We all think about when he swings and he misses and he just goes, and then he does it again, and then he just misses, and then he throws the club, and like we all feel that way, all of us. So this is to say that the other thing that I think is really interesting about the timing of this is that during COVID, golf blew up. I mean, of course, golf was always a huge sport, but it became younger people started playing more casually, because it was an outdoor sport that you could play, safely during COVID. So I think that there's a really fun opportunity here to bridge the gap. Like if Happy is in his 50s and he is for some reason having to work or play with all of these younger golfers, newer golfers. The other thing is golf, like my golf teacher is now a big golf influencer, and his whole deal is that he curses, he has long hair, like he is Happy Gilmore.
Right.
So golf has been a little bit more the playing field's a little more even. There are people like Happy on the golf course now. So I think that if they take it seriously, when I say that, I mean like actually try to make a good movie and not just a bunch of sketches kind of like, strung together. This could be awesome. This could be really good.
I hope so.
And I do. The last thing I'll say is that I think that Happy is the character who I actually would want to know what he's doing at this age. Like, I don't care what Billy Madison is up to.
Right. Well, I'm glad you went down that route too, because there are tournaments that people can play in at his age, and you can still be relevant in the sport at his age for sure. And that's the question, Sam, that I think, do you think that what I hope that they don't do is that after that tournament in 96?
96.
So after 96, he retired. I hope he became a pro. I hope that that's what he did. I hope that he was actually a golfer for all those years, and then maybe he finally did retire, and then they want to bring him back for like the senior tour or something.
I hope actually he did retire for good and went back to hockey, his true love.
Really? You want to see that he actually played hockey?
No, of course
not.
Okay. Look, here's what I genuinely hope. And no, I haven't read the script, and I know remarkably little about the movie. I do know that Dennis Dugan acts in it, and I only know that because I ran into him at the movies.
It's hilarious.
And we talked for a second. But here's what I hope it doesn't do, or at least if it does do, it doesn't like marry itself to. I am interested to see Happy Gilmore. I am interested to see the characters from Happy Gilmore and what they're up to.
Mm-hmm.
What I am not interested when I see these movies that do these long legacy sequels, I am not interested in your grown or about to be grown children that I don't know anything about.
Right.
And that's speaking as a person who grew up with the original movies.
Well, I know that's the concern.
It's such a common theme.
It is, and that's I think because Sam, I think the reason why is they're trying to get the other generation in, right? Because I happen to agree with you. I don't really want to see that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Look at what they did with the last Bill and Ted, right? The last Bill and Ted was all about their kids, and it's like, and the Goonies has always been rumored to be about their kids, and it's like, we want to kind of see what Happy Gilmore is doing now, and if he can still bring the laugh. So we'll see, because it comes out next year. All right, as I said, one for Sam, one for Clarke. So Clarke mentioned in her Instagram video, which was very nice, and I loved it. And she mentioned, I hope we talk about 28 years later. Well, here we go. 28 years later. It is the new Danny Boyle movie, and people are already abuzz over the new trailer. Following the poster and a cryptic teaser over the weekend, Sony has now released the first trailer for 28 Years Later, a long-awaited follow-up to his iconic 2002 horror feature 28 Days Later and the sequel 28 Weeks Later. What year did 28 Weeks Later come out? Does anybody know?
I think 2007.
Wow.
I believe that's correct.
Wow. It has been almost 3 decades since the rage virus escaped a biological weapons laboratory, and now still in a ruthless enforced quarantine, some have found ways to exist amidst the infected. One such group of survivors lives on a small island connected to the mainland by a single, heavily defended causeway. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the dark heart of the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors as well. Okay, so I remember being creeped out by both of the movies when I saw them and liking both of them. But I don't remember the story details as much. Does Cillian Murphy, does he die in the last one?
No, and
Okay.
he does not show up in 28 weeks
Oh, okay.
later.
Okay, he's only in the first.
Yes, which by the way, for your audience, if you have not seen 28 Weeks Later, it is absolutely worth watching. It is so good. It is very different than the first one, but it still absolutely feels like it is in the same universe. And I think they complement each other so well. But at the end of the first movie, Killian, Hannah, and Selena played, oh my God,
Naomi
Naomi Harris, played by Naomi Harris, who I know that we don't have confirmed that she's showing up in any of these, but oh boy, do I hope so. So yeah, they survived, and then they don't show up again in the second movie.
Okay, because the reason I asked that is there's a lot of speculation that one of the shots in the movie was actually Cillian Murphy's character.
It looks a lot like him, that's for sure. But I have seen, I posited this on my social media as well, and a handful of people were like, the way he's moving leads us to believe, because if you remember, the rage virus does turn the infected into, it's a really hyper, like, agile sort of movement. It's not your traditional Walking Dead walkers. So in this clip, what looks like Killian emaciated and sort of your more traditional zombie, like sort of sits up like this. And so some people in my replies were positing that this might be a nightmare or a dream.
Oh, okay.
And I like that theory. I think that that's actually probably what it is, considering that there are one or two photos of Killian on set, and he does not look like a zombie.
Okay. So
also, we have to consider that maybe once people become zombies, they start to look really svelte. And we all, for like a split second, look like Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, sign me up. I'll be a zombie. But Clarke, what are your thought? You seem to be pretty hyped for this one. Did you like the trailer?
I do like the trailer, and gosh, I actually this morning spent some time looking up that Boots poem that was written by Rudyard Kipling. I had never heard that before, and the actor who reads it, as it is like laid over the trailer, and listening to that whole thing uncut, the poem. I mean, whoa, like really powerful. I closed my eyes and I listened, and it's only like 60 to 90 seconds long, and when it finished, I was like, I literally audibly said, "Wow."
Yeah.
So if you want to creep yourself out later, just close your eyes and listen to that. But here's my one question / concern, and I'm not concerned because Alex Garland is back.
Yeah.
Danny Boyle is back. I feel like this franchise is in very good hands, obviously. My concern is that I've always argued, and the nerds in the chat will know, I've always argued that 28 Days Later is absolutely a zombie movie. I think the way George A. Romero kind of like revitalized redefined the zombie in Night of the Living Dead, I think that 28 Days Later is sort of the natural successor to that. That said, 28 Days Later comes out in 2001, 2002. So the world is different. Our world, meaning like what we know of zombies, how zombies have been explored, whether you want to call it a virus or the infected or whatever. And so I actually found myself kind of wondering, how will they do something different that, The Walking Dead or The Last of Us or various video games have not already explored in this long form kind of way? I don't know.
Yeah. Sam, do you, because you're, as I said in the beginning, I like good movies, right? It's not, even if it is a horror, if it is thriller, those are definitely fall in the horror. And I happen to really like, I think that maybe after hearing Clarke talk about it, I definitely don't remember the second one as much as I remember the first one. But do you like this trailer, and do you like the Danny Boyle movies in general?
I am a huge fan of the 28 Zombieverse.
Okay, good.
And so I was a huge fan of the original, and I also very much enjoyed 28 Weeks Later. And I am very excited about this movie. I think Garland and Boyle working together, sort of keeping each other to task, is going to be exactly what something like this needs to be the project we all hope it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm definitely very curious about it, and I think that you can always tell the buzz when the trailer comes out, and the buzz was really solid for this one, and people seem to really be digging the trailer. Clarke, do you feel that way too? That the majority of people that you're hearing you're in the horror world that are kind of buzzing about this one?
Yeah, it seemed like the fans really had a positive reaction. And I think too, like, look, if this is honestly a franchise that should have kept going. And it was always silly to me that after 28 weeks, we never got 28 months.
Right.
Obviously, Danny didn't direct the second movie anyway. So it was always strange to me. I will say, for audience, if you are interested, the movie that I think is basically our surrogate 28 months later is called The Girl with All the Gifts. It's a really, really great take on this world and on this space. They are not affiliated officially, but that's sort of my stand-in.
Is it kind of like a fan film? Yeah.
No, I think it's based on a book.
Oh, okay.
And it's a British film, and
okay.
it's really, really good. It's very good. Glenn Close is in it.
Oh, okay.
Playing like a military general. It's
a sequel to The Natural.
Yeah, exactly. With zombies.
Perfect.
But anyway, I think the vibe here is great. And as you both said, not only for just horror fans, but across the board. I think this is a franchise that audiences in general remember it crossing over and it creeping them out. And so I think we're all ready.
Great. So that's coming out, I think, sometime next year. So we'll be looking forward to it. Something that
don't forget to check out the original in the series, 28 Days.
Nope.
Starring Sandra Bullock
and Alan Tudyk.
Wouldn't that be great? What a great Easter egg thing that would be. Yeah, it's all about how her binges started.
There are no zombies.
No,
and they're in the post credits.
It is. That's when it all goes down. Well, something that I wasn't sure how I was going to enjoy because I love the movies so much is Dune Messiah. Turns out I really like it. I've only seen 2 episodes so far.
Okay,
but I do enjoy it, and I have another story concerning Dune. And that is that Anya Taylor-Joy confirms Dune Messiah plans. Oh, who's that? That's the wrong one. Wrong button. Anya Taylor-Joy appeared at Brazil's CCXP the other day to promote the forthcoming thriller, The Gorge. And during her press rounds, she spoke about another project. And that project, Dune Messiah, the third and seemingly final film. Oh, I was completely introed this wrong. I'll tell you why afterwards. The project is Dune Messiah, the third and seemingly final film in Denis Villeneuve's efforts to adapt Frank Herbert's sci-fi saga for the screen. She briefly appeared in Dune Part 2 in some visions, appearing as a grown-up version of the Atreides' younger sister, Paul's sister and daughter of Jessica. Speaking about her excitement to get into the role, she tells Collider, the film is being made, and I'm so thrilled to be part of it. I'm such a big fan of everybody that's a part of that project, and I just can't wait. The character plays a major role in Messiah, though Villeneuve has also changed up the source material for Allah in the second film, reducing her role there. That's not certainly how extensive her part will be in the new film. It's expected to start filming in 2026 to come out in 2027. So, I was I see you later, Sam. I was thinking about the television show because I thought I was like, it doesn't make sense. How the hell is she going to appear in the television show? It's 1,000 years beforehand. But I was like, who knows? Maybe there's some kind of strange thing because of the Bene Gesserit, and let me see. But no, it's about the third movie, which makes a lot more sense. I love that she's doing the third movie. I love that Denis is doing the third movie. I don't think I've talked about either one of you about Dune. Sam, do you love Dune too as much as I do?
I really, really enjoy it. Okay. Nobody enjoys it more than my wife, Rachel. She is a big Dune-verse fan. So that's her favorite film of the year still is Dune 2.
Me too.
Dune 2.
Me too.
That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, it's Dune 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And
anyway, but we've seen it many times. Anytime it's on TV, anytime we're looking around on the streamers, something to watch, we'll throw it on, and it is a very good movie. It is stunning to look at.
Yeah.
And the acting is great, and I enjoy it very much. We got to see it in the theaters, so I was.
Yeah, I saw it in IMAX. I loved it. The Bene Gesserit. I said Bene Gesserit. People are giving me crap for it. So anyway, Clarke, what did you think of Dune 2?
So actually,
Haven't seen
I
it?
haven't seen
Wow.
it. I haven't seen it.
Wow.
I listen, here's what I'll say to anyone watching. I know that the movie takes a turn. Like, I know if you thought the part 1 was a little by the numbers, that's not where we're going. I know this. I don't know what happens. You don't need to tell me. I will watch it. I will just say that I just don't love, I didn't respond to the first movie the way that I think a lot of others did. That said, though, I want to be clear. I think this is sort of like Frank Herbert's work has been interpreted and has influenced so much that has come after it that it's not fair to judge. Like, I am very aware that I will not be judging it's not Dune's fault that we've seen that I felt like I saw it before,
right? Because they're the one, right? Yeah. Because I mean,
exactly.
Because my wife saw a little bit of Dune. She said, "This is a Star Wars ripoff." I go, "No, Star Wars is a Dune ripoff."
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that said, though, I am not traveling for the winter holidays, and so it is on my list of things to curl up on the couch and get ready and watch.
Exactly. You got to do that. It is a great movie. I put that. I'm with Rachel on that. Still, it has not been dethroned as my number 1 so far. I loved it so much. There's a lot of other things I still need to see. I need to see The Brutalist, which I hear is great. Did you see that one yet, Sam?
I did.
Did you love it?
I did not love it.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I'm very glad I watched it. I am impressed by many aspects of it, but I think maybe my own personal tastes are what's stopping me from loving it. But I certainly cannot say it's anything other than a tremendous feat.
What's on your list right now?
Of movies that I really liked.
Ones that you're kind of like, if someone's going, what are the best ones that you've seen so far? If you're making lists.
Conclave is really entertaining.
Okay.
It's a really, like, the less you know about it, probably
I
better.
started it with my wife. She bailed on it, so I got to get back and just watch it myself.
Yeah. And honestly, my favorite film that I saw this year is a documentary called Will and Harper.
Okay, Will and Harper. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, and the Will in question is Will Ferrell.
Oh.
And yeah, it's a documentary, and it is. I got to see it at Telluride, and it really moved a lot of people in that theater. And I was very excited to show it to Rachel when it dropped on Netflix, and she loved it as well. Everyone I've recommended it to has really enjoyed it.
Good. That one's up. So I need to see that one, but I also, the other documentary obviously was the Christopher Reeve one that's available on HBO Max now. And then I really enjoyed the Bob Dylan one.
Yeah, we saw that. We liked it. I wish my takeaway from that, and everyone should see it. If you're even a casual Bob Dylan fan, you should absolutely make the time to see that movie. But I felt like he was great. Chalamet is great.
Yeah.
But it still didn't really answer for me. Like, all right, so what makes Bob Dylan tick?
Right. And but I don't necessarily know if that's what this movie was about.
I guess not.
That's
so.
Yeah, go ahead, Clarke.
I saw it last night. I was at the world premiere last night.
Yeah.
And, I didn't realize. So the movie's called A Complete Unknown.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm thinking this is a Bob Dylan movie. Great. Like, I'm going to learn about the origins and the journey and all of that. Then when the credits roll, I see that it's based on a book called Dylan Goes Electric.
Right.
And I thought to myself, well, that's what this movie should have been. And it's in there. But like, it should have been called Dylan Goes Electric. Like, that's what this movie is. It's about that. It's not this traditional necessarily biopic.
Right.
And that was sort of, for me, the thing that was lacking was I thought the performances were great. And I thought the music was incredible. But yeah, like I want to, if you're going to adapt that story, adapt that story.
We should have done a whole show on this. We could have done a big debate on it. I absolutely loved it. I thought that for what they did, I thought it worked. And because that much, I loved it so much. Let me tell you about a man named Samm Levine. I can't tell you exactly where he's been, He liked to play trivia against the outlaw. Pretty sure one time's gonna sock him in the jaw. Yeah, he's Sam Levine, he's the man, but he doesn't have a tan. There you go. That's my Bob Dylan for you.
Wow.
Isn't that good, Clarke?
What a journey we just went on.
What a journey.
In 30 seconds, this whole conversation changed.
It's
Things
true.
happened. Who knew this was the pivot that we were all waiting for?
And the name of the movie that's based on is called Tan. That's it. Tan. All right.
Wow.
All right. So now what we're going to do is at the time of the show where, speaking of Rocha, you were going to get to the questions. Now, when Rocha started on Monday, when he hit his 62, he had just around 26 questions going into it. You guys have 29. So we're going to start with the very first question, and that is from Ian Davis, who asked the following question. Sam, you have worked with some of the greatest creators in the game. What is your best memory on the set of Inglourious Bastards?
Oh, my word. I mean, I have a million memories from the set of Inglourious Bastards. But, you know, my first one, I wish there was a shorter way to tell the story. It's just it was one of the first scenes we're shooting where all the bastards are in that sort of, ditch where we've got the Nazi soldiers, pinned down with guns. And so that first scene I'm supposed to do, Quentin just, it's too long a story. I'm not going to tell the whole thing, but just his directing style that previously had been unknown to me. How he basically separated the actors who were in the scene together. And then he gave us completely different direction. Like he told me, I want you to do this thing with the scene. And then he told a different actor, I want you to do this thing to his character, and didn't tell either of us.
That's awesome.
And then basically let the scene play out. And he was prepared for it to go very differently. Quentin was. And then basically it was like, no, if that's the thing that I get from you guys that's most authentic, that's what the scene's going to be. That's where it's going to take us in the story. And so, yeah, that whole first week shooting in that ditch and really getting to see his directing style and how wonderful it was.
That's a
was
great
my
story.
favorite.
It's a great story. And then Ian Davis follows up and says, Clarke, what a legend. Arguably the GOAT of the Schmoedown. It's an honor. All of the respect.
Oh, well, thank you. But obviously, Sam's wife is the GOAT of the Schmoedown.
Damn right.
Nobody can argue that. But thank you. I appreciate the shout out.
Always the best teammate. I love it. You guys are great. Armada for Sam and Clarke. Best movies that I ruined this. Best movies that you've seen all year. Also, Kristian, we need that Schmoedown Legends match to happen. Yeah, people have been pushing me for the Schmoedown free for all in this too, and I said nobody's A, well trained for it. B, I'm not mentally prepared to ever run the Schmoedown ever again. But as far as best movies you guys have seen this year, because Clarke, you have your best one that you think you've seen all year.
Well, I saw somebody in the chat, GA in the chat, shouted out Strange Darling, and that's one that I got to see at the world premiere at Fantastic Fest in 2020. What year is it? 3.
Okay.
I saw it last year. And it was wild to walk in completely blind and then kind of let it all unfold with no hype and no anything. So I really enjoyed Strange Darling. And I'm going to give a shout out to Akasha Stevenson's The First Omen.
Okay.
I know that sounds silly to if you're like, oh, The First Omen, like what is the Omen movie? I think it's great. I think if you're a cinephile, I think it takes a lot of cues from a lot of the 1960s, 1970s kind of vibes. The performances are outstanding. The cast is great, and Ralph Ineson, who is in the movie, I remember when it was opening weekend, and he got on Twitter and he was like, "Why are you all acting so surprised that this movie is great? It's me, it's Charles Dance. Like, what did you think we all had very expensive divorces?"
Right,
and I was like, he's right, actually. Like, he's 100% right. So if you have the chance, The First Omen is great. I believe it's streaming on Hulu and Disney Plus because it's a Searchlight movie. that was a real fun surprise.
That's a fun one too. Sam, what did you mentioned those documentary and
Yeah.
a few others? Is there another one that you saw that you really enjoyed this year?
I did. I also really enjoyed September 5th.
Oh, I was going to say,
Anora.
Okay.
Those were both worthy of your eyeball juice.
It's funny, when we were going over the movies before, I was like, you know what one I feel like Sam would really love is September 5th, so that makes sense. Roman Fedorak. Hey, all. Kristian, I'm curious about this since you have talked in depth about cash grab films. One reviewer for War of Rohirrim says that they didn't like it and it was a cash grab. Thoughts? No. Well, first of all, I like the movie. And second of all, no, I don't feel it was a cash grab at all, because I don't think that you make an animated film for the big screen saying, "Oh, we're gonna really clean up with this one." It's not made for that. This movie clearly was not made for that. That to me is inaccurate. Was now to continue the lore and to continue to be in that universe. Yeah, it felt like Peter Jackson wanted to continue to be in it. Sam, did Rachel see this? And I was so curious to see what her thoughts are on this one.
I believe she did.
Yeah.
But she did it while I was not home.
Oh, so we don't know if she liked it or not.
I saw her review on her Instagram stories.
Did she not like it?
Let me tell you about your wife, Sam. Let me tell you some information about your wife.
Thank you so much.
She said she liked it, but she didn't love it.
Okay.
That's the short version.
Which is totally fair. Which is totally fair. I'm pretty sure if we asked Rachel, she wouldn't say it was a cash grab. So no, I don't think that at all. And I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. And maybe it was because I wanted to be back in the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings. So yeah, no, I don't think it was a cash grab. And then he follows that up by saying, I asked this because this is the franchise I adore the most. What is your favorite core franchise for all three of you guys? Thanks. Awesome to have Clarke and Sam on the show. Favorite franchise. I mean, it's hard to say Star Wars right now. It really is, because it just has not been good in a long time. But I mean, I'm going to throw a random one out there. I like the Bourne movies a lot. And I'm always curious to see how they're going to revisit them. So I mean, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's the first one that comes to mind of a franchise I'd like to see more of.
Probably the Fast and the Furious.
Is that true?
No.
You and Chris Nolan.
Chris Nolan loves Fast and Furious.
That's his favorite movie. He loves them.
I mean, if you showed a person the first Fast and the Furious movie and then any of like the last three, I think they wouldn't believe you.
But it's true. Totally.
That they were from the same universe.
I know completely.
Yeah. But no, I like your take. Bourne, those first three especially, so good.
That music, that John Powell music, so good.
Yeah.
Clarke, so you're going to hit us with a horror one, I hope.
No, I'm so stumped.
Okay.
I'm so stumped because, you guys know, I think you know this about me. I'm not a big franchise person.
Right.
Like, I'm not a big sequels person.
Mm-hmm.
I usually just don't think it's so hard to sustain like the quality and the story and all of that. So I'm really drawing a blank here.
Okay.
I'm keeping my eye on chat though. So chat, if you have any ideas about what my favorite franchise would be, please put them in the chat.
I know. I would.
Child's Play?
Nope.
I know. I was thinking Nightmare on Elm Street.
No.
All right.
I don't like horror franchises. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I always used to say that, and it's still true. The first three Paranormal Activities are my favorite trilogy.
Right.
But like there are 8 movies.
But that's
like
still,
I don't.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
Well, I guess that's fair to say because that's why I didn't pick Star Wars. Right. The last couple of things with Star Wars have just been so disappointing. Mike Joyce, Harley Quinn season 5 trailer. Has anybody watched the show? I do not, but I hear good things.
The animated series?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that it's still going.
Yeah.
I'm behind for sure, but we watched a lot of the Harley Quinn animated series on DC Daily, and it was a cast favorite. Like I think that show and Kite Man. Oh God, Kite Man.
Hilarious.
I love.
Who called Kite Man? Who called Kite Man from the get? Thank you very much.
That, Sam.
That's
you
right,
did.
I did.
Did either one of you guys watch Creature Commandos?
I haven't started it yet.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
That's the first DC animated animated show that Gunn put out. It's on HBO Max.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Mike Joyce. Clarke was good in Tenants. Any upcoming movies?
Fiendsgiving. If you would like to make our dreams a reality, please go to Indiegogo.com. Thank you. Great job, Kristian. Go to Indiegogo.com, contribute, play movie trivia with Sam and I, build a community. We really want to get this thing off the ground. But the only other the other film I have in the can is a documentary actually about the late great producer Deborah Hill, who had an incredible career, working with John Carpenter to begin with, and then of course produced Adventures in Babysitting and The Fisher King and Clue, and unfortunately passed away from cancer about 20 years ago. And so she is an iconic woman in this business. And so I'm not a producer on it, but I'm like as involved as I can be. And I'm a talking head in it. And so we are hopeful that is going to have its world premiere in 2025.
Awesome. That's good. Got a lot going on. Ewok, Rings of Power has been renewed for season 3. What are Clarke and Sam's thoughts on the show? And Kristian, do you think you'll ever watch season 2? Well, I mean, I'll start with that. I would like to say maybe eventually, because there's just so much stuff on television and movies and things that I haven't seen that I want to see. It's not, if you gave me a list of like the 15 things that I need to watch and I'm going to watch them soon, that's probably not on the list. But have either one of you guys seen the show at all?
I'm going to need to start over the first episode of season 1.
Okay, why is that?
Because
he bailed. He didn't even want to answer.
Always watch at least one episode of something new,
Yeah.
because sometimes shows from advertisements or titling can be very deceptive.
Yeah.
But this show was what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And it's I'm not the target audience. You know who is?
Right.
My wife.
But did she like it? Did she like the show?
She definitely enjoys it. She keeps watching it.
Okay.
So that's got to be worth something.
Okay. And Clarke, did you watch it?
I did not, but you know what I did do this year?
What's that?
Watch all of the extended Lord of the
they're
Rings
so
movies for the first time.
Oh, they're so good. And did you love them?
I'm a Two Towers gal.
Yeah.
I'm a Two Towers gal. I really, really, really liked the Two Towers.
It's really
and
good.
I like the bigger picture franchise, of course, but and I watched them with Rachel. So that was really fun. But I had seen Fellowship, and then I had not seen the other two ever. So Two Towers really got me.
Awesome.
I really didn't like how mean they were to Smeagol.
Oh, poor Smeagol. Well, he's gonna have some more revenge in his new movie.
Yeah, it's true.
Ewok. Also, what are your thoughts on the 28 Years Later trailer? Well, if you rewind a little bit, you can definitely get those thoughts, unless you already saw it, Ewok. And I think it looks terrific, he says. One of the creepiest things I've seen in a long time. It's definitely very creepy, and that's kind of the point. So I'm glad that it worked. Jack, have you ever considered Schmoedown rewatches? Well, we kind of did those when the Schmoedown was running on the Patreon and stuff. We would have Schmoedown people come in. I think you guys did it before. We watched like some old matches, and I just don't know if I think that there's still a core audience that still loves the show, but I don't think there's enough audience that still, would want to watch rewatches right now. You know what I mean? It's like, it was a show when it was on and it had its audience, and like every other show, they find new things to watch.
I agree.
Yeah. Simon section.
Concur.
Okay. I guess I'll be the one to say it. I think it's ROS. We had Rise of Skywalker. We had Space Horses. And now in this last episode of Skeleton Crew, we have an owl that might be a distant relative or a downgrade to Lobot. For me, a Kipper Skipper and Save Me Some for Breakfast. I didn't see the last episode of Skeleton Crew. I watched the first 2. Yesterday I had PLD. Like, it's so funny, like I said to you guys, like you guys know me well enough that you remember like 10 years ago, if there was a Star Wars thing, I'd probably seen it a week earlier. Last night, someone was like, hey, did you watch Skeleton Crew? Last night I was like, and I didn't get a chance to see it yet. I mean, it's fine. I like the show. The first 2 episodes were fun. I just didn't go out of my way to watch it. I was watching a UFO documentary last night. So there you go. But I don't know. Have you guys watched Skeleton Crew yet?
All of the words you just said, Kristian, when you were reading that question.
German?
I truly,
yeah.
Yes, but I support it.
Support it. Yeah.
I support that for you all.
I just learned Skeleton Crew existed within the week,
Oh, okay.
and Rachel was not surprised that I did not know about it.
Interesting. Well, but you know, the thing is, though, when it comes to those types of movies and shows, rather, you look at Kraven and you look at that, like, yes, you're not the one that's running out to buy tickets for those movies, Sam, but you're still enough in this world that it should have landed somewhere in your news feed, right? Neither one of them did. That says something.
Yeah, I mean,
Jude Law?
think it does.
Come on, it's Jude Law.
It's Jude Law. What's not to love? But I don't know. With these kind of things, I'm a little like you, but really, I don't know. It can sometimes take me months or years to finally catch the thing that everyone else has enjoyed. I mean, right now, Rachel and I are in the middle of a rewatch of The West Wing.
That's awesome.
Which I'd never seen.
Oh, that surprises the hell out of me.
Well, here's the problem. That show launched in 1999.
Right when you were shooting all your stuff.
Right when we were shooting Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
So I certainly wouldn't have been able to enjoy it as it aired originally.
Yeah.
And, you know, DVRs and streaming were not a thing back then. So if you really weren't watching it as it aired, and then by then there was no way to catch up.
Right. Do you know who was a big West Wing fan? The reason I know it was that year, 99, 2000, you know, a massive fan, Sam? Andrew Freed was
of course.
He was a major West. I would go over to his place and we would watch The West Wing, then Sopranos. Those were always, he was a major West Wing guy. Anyway, so let's see. Next one here is from Chris Daniel. I'm going to let Clarke answer this one. What is the best holiday horror movie?
You sure you don't want me to answer? It's weird you ask Clarke.
Yeah. Well, he actually asked everybody, but I think Clarke's going to have the best answer.
Well, so Sam and I were just on a podcast called the Screen Drafts Podcast, where we ranked the best holiday horror movie, not Halloween and not Christmas. So every other holiday was on the table, and it was a oddly specific topic, but it was actually really fun because, of course, we are trying to make a Thanksgiving horror movie. You know, my favorite that I go to, I can watch year round. It's really anytime. I think it works, and I told Sam to watch it a couple of weeks ago. Is Bob Clark's Black Christmas? I think Bob Clark's Black Christmas is one of the, and of course Bob Clarke, you know, director of Porky's, director of A Christmas Story, but also made this seminal horror holiday slasher movie before Halloween, before John Carpenter's Halloween. It's just, you know what it is for me is, first of all, it's very scary. It's creepy. Like the killer who you hear on a phone, his voice is really weird. The stuff he says is awful, but the relationships between the girls are hilarious. They're very real. They're very authentic. And Margot Kidder in a supporting role. One of my favorite performances of her. She's great. So yeah, love Black Christmas. Love Black Christmas.
I knew Clarke would nail that one. Dennis.
My answer, by the way, is Jack Frost.
It's a good one. Also good
but
one.
The Michael Keaton.
The Michael Keaton one, of course.
Sure.
Yes. Dennis Hoffman. Kristian, as you transition to do more interviews, do you worry that sharing your negative opinions or criticisms of Star Wars will affect getting talent to chat? Curious how you navigate. Look, I don't think that you can do something like what I don't want to do is not be honest. I think that you can. This is what people don't understand. I have had people inside of our community unfollow me because I talk negatively about certain projects that they like, which is so silly, but you know, it's up to them. But you have to do it in a respectful way. You don't insult people. You don't, you can be in the same way that I look at it, like with sports. You can criticize your team and you can criticize certain things and say things. And if people don't want to talk to you because of that, that's on them. You know, I'm not going to change. If I don't like something, I don't like something. I'd like to give my opinion on why I don't like it, as opposed to, well, that person's stupid and they suck and they shouldn't make movies anymore. Then no, who the hell would want to talk to a person like that? If you break down an actual show and say, I didn't like this because this, and this, and they still don't want to talk to you, then there's nothing I can do. So no, I'm not going to change my way of speaking about things because I'm worried about not being able to talk to somebody. Rock and movies with Tyler the Man. Yay, finally. Also, what's up, birthday buddy Sam and the classy one. When's your birthday? It's the same time as him, maybe.
I
March
assume
12th.
March 12th.
So
Yeah,
there you
nice
go.
talk, Clarke.
So there you go.
It's
Liza
also Emma
Minnelli.
Fife's birthday.
Oh, look at that. Recently,
I love how Sam said Emma and I said Liza. It's all good company though.
perfect.
It's a good day to be born.
It is a
Emma
good day.
and Liza. How could I be sad?
Yeah. So look, we've got 40 minutes left, and you guys are only. I mean, you're 41. You're only 22 away from beating Roka on your first appearance ever. That's pretty great. Ewok. The Oscars confirmed to air live on Hulu. Yay! Finally, smart people making decisions. Thoughts on the Oscars finally embracing streaming, and what are your early predictions for Best Picture? Get them off of ABC. It's not 1987 anymore. There's 1,000 different things to watch. It's not. It's now, because of all these movies that are out there too, the smaller movies. It's not as mainstream as it used to be. The point that I made the other day, guys, and I'm curious if you, Clarke, I'll start with you on this one. I think one of the main reasons that the Oscars continue to have dwindling ratings is because when we were growing up, you know, it's like all three of us, and we'd watch the Oscars, it was like our only time to see the celebrities. It was like, okay, let's see. It's so and so. It's I don't know why the first person I think of it's Ed Harris, right? It's Julia Roberts. It's Brad Pitt. It's all these different people, and here they are. We don't get a chance to see them. Now you go to Ed Harris's Instagram, and you can see him. So I think streaming is a very smart decision for this. What do you think?
Well, everybody is moving to streaming. I mean, like that's the thing. You're the people that run the film and television companies are all trying to take you to streaming. Like, so why would it not simulcast? I don't understand from a business perspective, unless maybe there was a like a contract issue. I don't know. It seems like a total no-brainer. And I do agree with what you're saying, Kristian, although I wanted to say that last couple of years I've watched the Oscars with my mom more because she likes to watch them. I don't usually really care that much about award shows anymore. That said, I thought the show last year was great. I thought it was a very,
last year's
very
show
good
was
show.
It was an improvement last year. The show itself, yes, and it did better in the ratings, but still not enough to justify being on network television. But
yeah, get it on streaming. I don't know what they're doing.
yeah, Sam, do you think this is the right move?
I think as long as they guarantee us some Ed Harris coverage,
100%. He's hosting.
They should be on streaming.
He's hosting
for sure.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to leave the close up on you because this is from Space Jesus. Says, Sam, I loved you in Not Another Teen Movie. It's one of my favorite parody movies. Kristian, can you say The Mandalorian and Grogu? Just such a silly title for a movie. Sam, was that a lot of fun? Shooting that movie? You have fond memories. My good friend Serena Vincent was in that one too with you.
Yes. I have terrific memories of making that movie. It was very silly. It was my first on-camera feature film, and we had a lot of laughs. And I'll say this: I remember working with Chris Evans, and a phrase that I definitely used to describe Chris Evans when people were like, "Oh, I know Chris, but how was that guy?" I said, "The it factor."
Oh, you knew
Chris
it right away.
has the it factor.
Yeah.
I knew it back then, and if there were only some way I could have monetized that.
For real. Well, he did.
Yeah, he sure did.
He did. Okay, next one is from Gopal, and Gopal says, "Great to see Clarke again, but it's been way too long since I've seen Sam. I'm a huge Freaks and Geeks fan. I love Bastards, not another teen movie, but I love Freaks and Geeks. People still love that show, man. They still talk about that show all the damn time. Has there ever, I wonder, could there ever be a reunion of that show now?
Nope.
How come?
No one has any desire to do it.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think is definitely missing would be the need for the cash grab.
Yeah.
Judd, Seth Rogen, Franco, Jason Segel, Linda, they don't need the money.
And Seth and Sam don't even. Seth and James don't even
Franco,
talk anymore.
Yeah. I have no updates on that, but there's because there's no financial incentive. There would have to be a genuine interest in doing it, and I don't think anyone involved really has one.
That's fair. I want to go back to Ewok. Go ahead, Clarke, please.
You did a little mini one though, right? Around for D&D, for Dungeons and Dragons.
We did.
You and
yes,
the boys got together, and that was sweet. I just
Yes.
just saying that was sweet and a really fun video.
Thank you. Yeah, me and John Daly and Martin Starr, we did a little video 2 years ago when Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves came out.
That's awesome.
And if you want to see the three of us sort of reliving our characters together playing D&D, just Google Freaks and Geeks Dungeons and Dragons reunion. I'm sure you'll find
That's really cool. Ewok was, we didn't answer the end there, and it said, what are your early predictions for Best Picture as far as nomination or winning? I haven't seen everything, so I can't really say. I hope Dune 2 gets a nomination. I haven't seen it yet, but I feel like The Brutalist is going to get a nomination because everybody's talking about it in that kind of way. I don't know. Do you guys have any early predictions as far as Best Picture?
The Brutalist will definitely get a nomination. I'd like to see Dune 2 get a nomination.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the titles we've already talked about are likely to get nominations, especially because they can have as many as 10. But I don't know. The best movie I saw this year was probably Die Hard.
That's a really good one. I hear it's nice and new and fresh. Clarke, do you have any early predictions on?
I do think Wicked has a good shot
it's a
at
good shot.
Some legit gold.
Yeah.
And I will say the Globes nominations came out, was that yesterday, 2 days ago?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
And I did think it was really a drag that John M. Chu was not even nominated.
Neither was Denis. Neither one of them was.
Yes, that's fair. Denis, I guess what I'm saying is you're right. Both of them should have been nominated.
Yeah, they both got screwed. I think John Chu should have been nominated also, especially in comedy and I don't know if is it a certain. I don't know if it's the same category.
It's all of them in the same category.
Okay.
But I would argue that and this is the same for Denis as well. But I would argue that objectively, John's just craft is just so. When people make big movies look easy.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's a very well directed film. It should have been nominated. Yeah. He should have been nominated, and they both probably will be for the Oscars. I think that they will. I hope so. Space Jesus follows back up and says, "Sony, please just give the rights to Spider-Man back to Marvel." Not going to happen. They're making too much money. Especially now that, as Clarke was saying before, they're on the ride with the MCU, and they're going to keep making money with them. So they'll hold on to it. Matt Sinister Macau, to both Samm and Clarke, what is a movie that you hate that everyone loves?
The Hours.
The Hours. That's the first one that comes to your mind is The Hours.
Well, here's the thing. I saw that movie with friends when it was in theaters, and we walked out of the movies, and I looked at them and went, maybe the most accurately titled film I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
Oh, The Hours.
The Hours.
It's a fine film. It's just, I was a young man when that movie came out.
Fair enough.
And I remember getting all this praise and thinking, did I see the same movie everyone else did?
What about you, Clarke?
I always go blank when I'm asked these questions, and I'm going blank currently.
Okay.
I can't think. I'll keep thinking.
Keep thinking about it. And he follows it up with Jeremy Allen White should be a Sith. Star Wars is dumb. Yeah, the news that Jeremy Allen White is playing a Hutt. So
that was so weird.
Yep.
That was so weird. I'm sure it makes sense to the people that wrote it and made the choice, but to the average bear, it does not make. Oh, no pun intended. But it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think that it probably. I'll make it make sense to you on a technical side, because he's in the family, right? He's on The Bear. He's doing Springsteen for Fox Searchlight. So as far as being in the family, that makes sense. Now, as far as the voice goes, maybe his schedule is so out of control that they're like, hey, we really want you in this thing, and what we have available is this. It's a voice thing, and we want you available, and you only got to come in for like a couple of weeks to do this thing. Can you do it? And that's how it can make sense. Do I think it's the right choice? No, but I think that's how it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird.
It's weird. Jalen Turner, with the addition of Chris Evans to Avengers Doomsday, but with the Russo brothers being involved, do we believe that cameos could outweigh this story, or do they have a good enough handle on everything given their track record? Oh man, it's a crapshoot right now. It's a crapshoot because the question is like, what? There was a time when they said, when I remember that it was definitive that Marvel didn't want the Russo brothers back, and then it seemed like they were like, we kind of need them back. So I don't know. What do you guys feel about this question? Do you think that cameos can overrun this thing?
I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I don't think they will.
Okay.
I trust the Russos. I think the Russos are very good directors, and I think the Russos have a great handle on the material, and they really landed all their planes, I would argue. And so, I get the idea that they were trying to Marvel was trying to rebrand and trying to like move away from the old guard and into the new guard. But I don't think that it will be a cameo fest, but who knows? Or at least outweigh the story, as the question was posed.
Sam?
I like Clarke's take. I trust the Russos. I think they are very adept filmmakers. And with the Downey Jr. and the Evans of it all, here's the only comparison I can think of. When I post on social media, if I post about stuff I'm working on now, it gets some eyeballs. If I post an old picture from Freaks and Geeks,
Right.
Thousands and thousands.
Right.
So sometimes you got to go back to the well to remind people.
100%. That's great example. PLD coming in and saying this donation is for Sam to beat Roca and make all right with the world. So great to see the Schmoedown legends on this show. Makes me want to break out the unused questions PJ and I have. Yeah, he wants to start asking some questions. Yeah, the second you heard PLD, Sam started to sweat. Frankie C. I need to know Sam's experience doing Not Another Teen Movie. It's still in my top 3 of the spoof movie genre. Keep it filthy, is what he says. So what about it? What do you say?
Wait,
Sam?
Not Another Teen Movie?
Yeah, he said, what is as far as your experience, is there anything that stands out besides the Chris Evans story?
Yeah.
Anything that stands out from that experience that maybe you've never said before? How about that?
Oh, wow, that I've never said before.
Yeah.
All right, well, here, check this out. So there is a really silly scene in there where the dweebs, the loser characters, me and Sam Huntington, Cody McBain's, we act like we're about to go on a big road trip. We get in the car's fully packed and everything. We say road trip, we high five, and then we drive. And the shot follows our car driving literally like 2 houses down, and we park in front of the big party that we're going to. And then I just say in my very offensive Asian voice, we here. And I have said we here every single time I have parked my car at its destination for the previous 23 years.
That is fantastic.
Because of that.
It has stuck with you that long. That's amazing, though.
It's just a very silly thing to say, and I hope other people do as well.
Oh, it's so funny.
It's a fun thing to say when you get to your destination.
Yes. Well, Tom Hanks is in the room, and he says, what are Sam and Clarke's favorite movies of 2024? I think we have another one. So we covered Mr. Hanks. If you go back, we hit quite a few of them. So if you go back and you take a look, both Sam and Clarke talked about a lot of great recommendations. So please go and check that out. Mike Joyce, why make a 28 sequel if the first one is so hard to find? Is it hard to find on streaming right now? Is that?
Yeah, that's a thing of like, it is.
Yeah? Yes
is the answer. And everybody was sort of talking about that yesterday when the trailer came out, that it's been sort of notoriously hard to stream. And so, but why make a sequel? Because to make the old ones easier to find?
That's a great answer. That's a great answer. It's a great answer because if it's more popular, people maybe it gets picked up for a different streaming service. So yeah, that's exactly right. But I really wish that they would make it. I mean, I guess you could buy it or rent it on Amazon. No,
I think you can. I think it's more about just streaming it as part of like a service.
Yeah, I don't know.
The thing, it's a whole long thing, but Fox Atomic, I think, is the banner that did the movies, and Fox Atomic doesn't really, obviously doesn't exist anymore. So it probably got folded in somewhere. And is it Fox? Is it Disney? Is it,
Right.
I'm sure it's that. I'm sure it's that.
Roberto Arsenal, with 28 days and weeks later, is one of the few movies no longer on Blu-ray release or streaming. I was lucky enough to buy them though when they came out, and you can't even buy them. You can't even buy them. That's wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that until Clarke just kind of broke that down in those two comments. I didn't realize that they were so hard to even purchase.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is really
well.
weird.
Here's what I can bet you: if 28 years later is successful,
Yes.
you will be able to buy
That's what we were
a
saying.
brand new Blu-ray 4K trilogy pack of all three on physical media.
Yep.
I wonder if it's kind of like how The Abyss and True Lies, you could not get them on like a high quality, for a very long time, and they were not. And also, those were Fox movies, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Yeah, I think it's something with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that just came out, The Abyss, recently. Brooklyn. Great to see the gorgeous Clarke Wolfe and the handsome Samm Levine and the always magically delicious Kristian Harloff. Thank you. A lot of fun watching you guys cook. Thank you, Brooklyn. What a nice comment that was. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next one is from Armada. Clarke, are you excited for James Gunn's Superman?
Oh yeah, I am. I'm very, very curious, James, the tone of what James is going to do. But following him on social for so long, his love for the characters is so apparent. And I think his core understanding of the characters is really apparent. And so I really I'm so fascinated by, or I'm just truly curious, like, what is this movie going to be?
Right.
I can't tell you. As a James Gunn fan, as a superhero or a Superman fan, I couldn't say, but DC and Warner Brothers seem to really have put a lot of trust in him and Peter Safran. And I think coming out of the gate with Superman, which I think, Kristian, you and I kind of touched on maybe the last time I was on the show, is an interesting choice. I don't know if the audience's appetite is there for Superman, but we'll see. We'll find out. I hope it is. I hope it is.
All right, Top Dog Rig. With Boyle and Garland coming back to 28 franchise, it tells me that there is an actual story that they feel is worth telling, and this isn't just a cash grab. Also, give me more jacked Rafe Fiennes for now on. What was he?
Rafe Fiennes. He's he's
I'm
the guy.
I'm got COVID brain right now.
That's okay. Fiends
No,
Giving.
he's never once been able to say it right.
Yeah. No.
You were also promoting Fiends Giving, which
Yes.
you could go to Indiegogo right now and support and help us make it a reality, starring Rafe Fiennes. But Rafe is, he looks like he's one of the like a rebel leader. He looks like he's gonna be kind of scary, kind of like Woody and the Woody Harrelson in the Apes movies. But and I think I saw somebody in the chat point out that the first two of the trilogy, so Danny doing, so that's pretty cool.
Hey, I just want to remind everyone at the end of 28 weeks later, if memory serves, there's like a super quick shot where they show the infected in front of the Eiffel Tower. So they do make it out of the UK.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I'm assuming that plays a part in this. I don't think they're going to ignore that.
30 minutes left in the show and 48 so far, guys. Pretty damn good. Scott D. My favorite documentary I saw this year had Samm Levine in it. Getting Lost was fantastic. Were you I didn't realize you were a big Lost guy.
Yeah, I was a huge Lost fan. I continue to be a huge Lost fan. I was also in the show.
When?
What? In the final season.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know you then. So like, if I went back, I'd be like, "Holy shit!" I'd probably be one of those moments if I did a rewatch. I go, "Hey, Samm, I didn't realize you were in it."
It's all good. It's a really small part. It was just for funsies, just for me. Damon and I go way back, so he was a very good dude to get me in there. That was a super fun doc to sit down and talk about. And if you're a big fan of Lost, I think it's worth checking out.
Yes. All right. So the next one here is Gopal, and he says, "I know nothing about the Brutalist, but in my head, it's about somebody who designs raw concrete buildings."
I had to Google it too, to be honest. I Googled it while y'all were talking last time about it. I had seen Adrian Brody's name pop up in like early awards contender sort of lists, but I didn't put the connection together. I've not seen a trailer for The Brutalist. I haven't seen anything about this movie, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those ones that when it comes to the Oscar season, it's going to be the only one that you really hear about, I think. I think it's going to it just has that feeling like that's the one they're going to push.
Well, that take is not wildly incorrect.
Thank you.
Not that take. The take
oh.
from the question
Oh.
about when I think of the Brutalist, I think of concrete buildings.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. Lucas M.
His character is an architect.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Lucas M. Question for Sam. Will KPCS ever return, or will this emptiness in me never be filled?
You're going to fill that emptiness every day with the Kristian Harloff show.
Perfect. Christopher Regalado. So ask Kristian about his opinion on the ending of The Substance and why he is wrong. Only kidding. I hope success to all projects and that Samm and Clarke do. Did you guys see The Substance?
I did, yes.
So I really enjoyed the first 2 acts. I just didn't love the third act. I just thought the third act got a little too movie for me.
I didn't realize what a comedy The Substance was supposed to be when I sat down. I think it was because of the success at Cannes. I thought I was sitting down for something totally different. And then when it was so broad and the special effects continued, I mean, to be clear, I loved what Coralie did. I think it's just not what I was expecting. And so I could totally see you're on this ride and then it goes to where it goes and you're like, I didn't sign up for this. When meanwhile she was like, well, that's what it was the whole time, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't know. There was something like, it was almost like a Black Mirror movie for like the first 2 acts, you know, and then it kind of just went into this crazy movie by the last one. And I was like, and it's really graphic. And I was like, like you said, I was like, that's not the movie I've been watching. And she does basically tell you exactly what you just said. It kind of is. But I'm like, yeah, but I don't like that. Not the ending. What did you think, Sam?
I enjoyed it. I'm glad I watched it, and I don't know that it fell apart at the end or anything like that.
Wasn't that it fell apart as much as I just didn't like the tone shift so much, and it was just really extreme in the end. And from how much I was really enjoying the first 2 acts, it just didn't feel like the right balance for me.
I guess then, since we don't want to do any spoilers, you know, you should have a special that's spoiler filled, where I'd really be interested to hear exactly what you wish were different about it, because I don't think I can discuss it without giving it away.
That's fine. All right, Armada says, what's interesting in 28 years later is the first movie of a new trilogy. Ray Fiennes and said the first 2 have already been shot.
Yes, that was what I was referencing earlier.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. Top Dog Rig. Clarke, aside from Strange Darling, what are some other lesser-known genre films that you enjoyed this year? Also, I 100% agree with you about The First Omen.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you enjoyed that movie. Well, yes, I do actually have a couple of recommendations. If you have access to Shudder or AMC Plus, there's a little movie called Oddity that I really enjoyed. It's spooky. It is weird, but it's accessible and it satisfies you. It gives you answers. It's not like nebulous. And it's streaming on Shudder and AMC Plus. Really loved that director's visual style, like some beautiful, and I can't remember if it's his first or second film, but I really enjoyed it. And then I just watched a movie called Daddy's Head that is also on Shudder and AMC Plus, and it doesn't quite stick the landing for me, but I enjoyed it. So yeah, but Oddity is something that was a nice find. It felt like a really cool find that came out this year, and so I would do that.
Okay. Now we get to Daniel Son. Oh, Daniel. Love the shows. Love the show, guys. All of you guys, check out the new Secret Level show. Watch Warhammer 40K episode sneak peek of what's to come in Henry's new show. So which one? Warhammer? Okay. That's the new Henry Cavill show. Okay. Interesting. King's Port Cal. Did you guys hear Heat 2 is now supposedly Man's next film? I mean, I know it's been rumored. And then did you read the book, Sam? The new one, Heat 2?
No.
Seems like something. Do you have it?
No.
Sam's like, I don't read.
Did you know it existed?
What? I don't know how to read. Everybody knows that about me. It's one of the best open secrets in Hollywood.
I had to read him his Fiend's Giving script when I sent it to him.
True.
And so that he knew what he was signing up for.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Starring Ray Fiennes.
I only recognize the shapes.
You wouldn't need to promote on this show if you had Ray Fiennes.
No, I wouldn't. Sam, you're no Ray Fiennes.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll see what happens with good old Ray Feeney. Maybe you can change your new stage name. Your new stage name is Ray Fiennes.
I should. I'll change it
should.
to Rafe Fiends, though.
Fiends.
I'll
Yeah.
spell it differently.
Yes. Maveth the Reaper. Sam, Clarke, and Kristian, I just wanted to say thank you so much. The Schmoedown carried me through COVID. Your movie knowledge is impeccable. What is your excitement level for Superman Legacy? 110, although it's just Superman now. But, I'm giving it a good 9. Superman is my favorite superhero, and I really like the things I've heard so far about it. So I'd go 9. What about you, Sam? Do you give a shit about Superman?
I do actually.
Okay.
Superman is one of my favorite characters. So yeah, I'll join you with your 9. I may be even closer to a 10. I'm very excited to see this movie. Wow. I'm a big fan of James Gunn's, so it is both enjoyment of the character on a historical level and absolute curiosity for what this has all been building towards.
What's your level, Clarke?
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm cautiously optimistic, and that has nothing to do with James. It has everything to do with just, I don't know how we make a Superman movie in this world that we live in. Truly, I just don't know. But one thing I will say is, as a longtime fan of James, I think that I'm excited to see I think he's going to stretch himself a bit out of the comfort zone. You know, I don't think this is going to be the Suicide Squad or Peacemaker. I don't think it's going to be Guardians even. I think this is going to be something really different. And so which I love all those things I just said, by the way. I'm just saying, I think that you wouldn't apply those tones to Superman necessarily. So I'm excited to see what he does, but I'm cautiously optimistic. So I'll say like a 6 and a half. Let's call it a 6 and a half.
Fair enough.
But it's, again, nothing to do with James, just everything to do with me.
Okay. Armada. Oh, this is one of my favorite questions that has been asked for every host on the show so far. So I'm very curious where you guys go with this. Andrew Dice Clay portraying Jeff Snyder, or Jeff Snyder portraying Andrew Dice Clay in a movie?
It's just such a weird question.
It is really a weird question, but it's an obvious answer. Come on, Andrew Dice Clay being a movie reporter trying to get the latest scoop. Hey, can you tell me who's playing the next Batman?
Yes, Hickory Dickory.
Okay, yeah. I've seen Snyder's acting.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think we all have.
Okay.
Okay, Armada. Also, thank you to Clarke for recommending me Double Toasted during the AMC Collider days. Much love. # Wolves of Steel.
You're welcome.
You
are so welcome.
Yeah. And then D. Herbalario. Clarke, I met you at 2019 New York Comic Con after the Alien panel.
Yes.
Choosing violence today by bringing up Schmoedown. Clarke, I'm on your side. The Charlie's Angels Challenge. You were right. It's the name of a movie. I don't even know.
Dan. So I love you and thank you for being so great in the comments and in the chat and on Instagram and all of the things. You've been a wonderful support of me and my career. I have no idea what you're talking about with the Charlie's Angels Challenge.
I was trying to remember.
I remember I was dressed as Charlie's Angels at one point. I do not remember this controversy.
It's so funny. I mean, and you know what's hilarious is, like, a week later you would have probably known the ins and outs and everything about the challenge, right? Of course. Same with me. And I would be like, oh my God, we're bringing this up again. I don't remember it either. It's like but it's like one of those things, Sam, I'm sure, like, you know, when you're on a show and somebody's like, hey, you remember that one line when you said that to so-and-so and your line was, and you're like, that was an old job, man. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
And
I've memorized and forgotten a lot of lines since then.
Right. All right. So the next one, Top Dog Rig for Sam. Thoughts on Pootie Tang?
Thoughts on Pootie Tang?
Yeah. The movie.
I mean,
the movie.
It's funny. It's a very silly movie. It's the directorial debut of the filmmaker.
Well said. Armada, will Sinatra Scorsese movie ever happen? I believe it will. Do you think you
better hurry up?
Yeah, Sinatra's not looking so good these days.
Oh, poor Sinatra. Nick Alexander. Hey, Sam, any plans for a Dirk solo movie? Club Dread spinoff? Nice to see you both, Sam and Clarke.
Yes, there are plans, but I'm still waiting on your script.
Perfect. And which Top Dog Rig then follows up for Clarke. Why do you think that horror films are still not getting the love that they deserve from the Oscars, even with the elevated horror being at its peak?
Yeah, I was tweeting about this the other day because of the nomination for Hugh Grant in the hilarious musical slash comedy Heretic.
Not since The Tourist.
Not
Truly.
since the tourist, yeah.
The
Or the
Tourist
Martian.
or the Martian.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, so jokes like, and I said this in my little tweets. Jokes aside, like the powers that be, the awards need to get serious and either make room in the dramatic categories for genre performances that are exceptional. And I do think Hugh Grant gave a great performance. I think I could list 20 names that were ignored. Toni Collette in Hereditary should have been nominated that year. Like, we can go on and on, right? They either need to make room or they need to expand quote unquote musical and comedy to genre. So like, not a drama, and then everything else goes over here. And like, because calling it musical and comedy for Heretic is insane. Yeah. That is a crazy thing to do.
The Golden Globes are a mess anyway for that.
And yes, I mean, sure. But yes.
Because I think the Oscars do separate the stuff, but it's like they still, though, they don't take genre and they don't take these. And it's the same way someone brought this up on one of the shows on Friday, and he asked about the Angela Bassett Best Supporting.
Yeah.
I really do believe the reason why she didn't win Best, she won everything else. She won every other award. I truly believe she didn't win Best Supporting Actor because the Oscars didn't want a comic book movie to win that year.
Absolutely. And, yes. Yeah. Yes is the answer. Yes.
Gopal. Did I see that Dune 2 or Denis did not get nominated because it wasn't submitted for the Globes? I thought one of the votes said that maybe. I didn't hear that.
I think they mean maybe voters. But Dune 2 was nominated for Best Picture.
Right.
At the Golden Globes. So the submissions was not the issue.
All right. Armada.
Is my guess.
Clarke, have you seen the Coffee Table horror movie?
I have not seen the Coffee Table horror movie. I know what you're talking about, though. And I was at Fantastic Fest the year it was playing there. And the buzz on that was that it was weird. Some people loved it. Some people did not like it. But some people, it was their favorite thing they'd seen. So I know of what you speak, but have not seen.
Is that based on the book by Cosmo Kramer?
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Yes. Simon Section. Kristian, please put some respect when you talk about Ed Harris. I give him all the respect in the world. I loved him in Sniper. Or was that Tom Berenger? Either way, better villain in The Rock. Ed Harris is a legend. It was just the humor behind it was the fact that that's the first person I thought of, was out of all the sea of celebrities back in the day, tuning in for Ed Harris. It was not normally what everyone was speaking about, except unless you're PLD. The Dart Double 05. Guys, I have a flat butt for a short guy. Any recommendations? Squats.
Butt implants.
Yeah.
Get taller.
Get taller. Perfect. We have a celebrity in the house. Rachel Levine writes, if we're talking about great films this year, I hope more people see The Room Next Door. And it won't be everyone, but I also enjoyed Nosferatu. I really enjoyed Nosferatu, Rachel. It's on my list also. So I'm glad you brought that up. I really enjoyed Nosferatu. I dug it. So I would put that, I'd probably put it in my top 10 right now. I didn't see, which one's The Room Next Door? Who's in that one?
The Room Next Door is Julianne Moore, Tilda Swinton.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see it though.
And we watched that, and it is, AARP has a list they put out every year called Movies for Grown-Ups.
Yeah.
This would be on that list.
Would be on that list. Okay.
So if generally you enjoy Fast and the Furious or genre fare,
it's this.
I don't know that this would be a movie for you, but if you branch out and you like movies for grown-ups, this is a very interesting, very well acted movie for grown-ups.
Right. Matt Thomas. Sam, I interviewed you at Fan Expo Cleveland before the world ended in 2020. I can honestly say that's one of my favorite interviews that I ever did to this day. It's very nice. I think I remember that.
Yeah, the world really did end. That was like March 7th, 2020.
Crazy. That was 5 years ago, almost.
Yeah.
Nuts. Tronin, Clarke, have you enjoyed the Walking Dead spinoff shows? I have.
Yeah, I have. I think if, I I have. Yes. I'm glad the cast is doing them. I'm glad the team is doing them. I'm glad the fans are getting them. I'm glad, our characters are sort of like going on these side quests. So yeah, I'm really glad that they exist for sure.
Cracking up over there about.
I just saw. I've not been able to really see the comments because I'm so bad at tech, but somebody just wrote, "The room next door equals the hours 2024," and
Yeah,
that is very funny. It's not accurate because
you would have walked out.
Really,
but you would have walked out at 15.
Oh my gosh, that's Gishgali who made that joke. Hey,
Oh,
bud.
hi.
I
Hi,
haven't
Gishgali.
seen Gishgali is fun, and Gishgali gives me a hard time. They hold me accountable. Nice to see you.
Top Dog Rig. Oddity was easily my favorite horror of the year. Carolyn Bracken dropped a 10 out of 10 performance. Also, that final shot, chef's kiss. You're
It's
nodding in
fun.
approval?
It's a good movie, and also Oddity's one that anybody can watch. Like, it's not like, oh, it's too gory, oh, it's too scary, oh, it's a good one for anyone who wants a little creepy cold movie.
PLD follows up. It says, in honor of the old school Oscars, favorite Ed Harris role?
You guys were just talking about some of his greatest hits.
I mean,
the hours.
Stepmom.
Oh gosh.
There you go.
I like them all. I choose
Eye
all
for an
of
eye.
them.
Say eye for an eye.
No, I'll give you one. You know which one I liked him in? Was in the the one. What's the one with Viggo Mortensen when he plays the hitman? That's
History of Violence.
Yes, History of Violence.
Oh, he is great in that.
He's great in that.
Yeah.
You got one, Sam?
No, Glenn Ross.
Okay. The Cali Kid. My top of 24 is Maxine, Honora, Furiosa, Civil War. Furiosa was very underrated. It should have done better than it did.
I still haven't seen it.
It's a good movie.
I still haven't seen it. I'm going to watch it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Is this true? Simon Section says, thoughts on Austin Butler being cast to play Patrick Bateman in the new American Psycho movie. Is that
so?
true?
I think this broke as soon as we started recording.
Okay.
Because someone else had put it in the chat too, and I noticed whoever put it in the chat earlier had said that they are adapting the book, like they are not remaking Mary Herron's movie, which I think is a very good idea. And I think Austin Butler is a very interesting choice. But I do have a little bit of a hot take here, which is we don't need this movie. We don't. And you know what? I gotta say, like, okay, I know we're running out of time. I'm gonna get on my little soapbox for 30 seconds. Here we go. The fact that American Psycho was originally supposed to be made by Oliver Stone and starring Leonardo DiCaprio, which made sense at that time. Instead, Mary Herron and Guinevere Turner adapt the book, Mary directs it, and then they cast Christian Bale. They all were on the same page in terms of the satire that is going on in a way that there is no way that Oliver Stone and Leonardo DiCaprio could have done what they did. Okay, fine. Now here we are. I love Luca Guadagnino. I think he's got a wonderfully dark sense of humor. I just
don't need it.
We don't need it. And I worry because the internet does not know how to do media literacy. And this character, I don't know. Right. I don't think we need it.
Well, we'll find out in the next probably 2 or 3 years.
We will.
Top Dog Ray. Clarke, have you seen From on MGM? I cannot recommend it high enough. People love this. That's the one with Harold Perrineau? Is that the one?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. And I have not seen it because I do not have MGM Plus. I had it for a minute and I watched the Adrian Brody show Chapelwaite, which was the prequel to Salem's Lot, which I did enjoy, but then they canceled it and that's where I'm at.
Understood. All right, so we've reached the end. I have good news and bad news. All right, so the bad news is that we didn't catch Roca at 62. The good news is I forgot that Roxy beat him yesterday, so it was so there you go. Roxy was at 65. We ended it. A debut of 57 questions is absolutely incredible. 2 Schmoedown legends doing exactly what I thought that they would do. Oh, I lied. 58. Here's Top Dog Rig with another one. My favorite Ed Harris performance has to be his supporting role in the De Niro Pacino classic Night Falls. I don't know if you guys remember that one. Do you remember? I made up a movie when I was on Movie Fights, and
that sounds about right.
It was with Ellis, and I was with Ellis, and they said, "What's favorite movie with or whatever with a night in the title?" He picked something else, and I just made up the movie and almost won the point. So,
Wow.
yeah, but
Bold.
yeah.
Kristian, are you seeing in the chat that Dan clarified what the Charlie's Angels thing was?
No, what was it?
Okay, here's what he says. The opposite team's question, the answer was Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. So specifically the sequel. They said Charlie's Angels, and Kristian gave a pause and let them give more time.
Oh, okay.
And I challenged because Charlie's Angels is the name of a movie.
Sounds about right. It sounds about right.
And you went with them and not me, which also sounds about right.
No, that's not fair. But I will say the one that someone mentioned the other day, that was a really tough one. The one that was, because calling those live events were really hard on stage because we didn't have we had okay equipment, right? And so you guys remember on the live events, Mark and I were like off in the corner over there. And then you guys were in like either in the center or even off to the side. So when Clarke, when you and Rachel played Andrew and Ben in that live event, I had the cans on, I couldn't hear. So they said Giancarlo Stanton, to which right away is wrong. You don't get another, you're out. And instead I go, what? I couldn't understand what the hell they said. And they go, no, Giancarlo Esposito. And I was like, I can't give him that. And that was the whole thing. But I will tell you on air, as I've said before, that should have just been a wrong answer right away, and then it should just.
I lose sleep over it, Kristian. But thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now
years
these
later,
bags under my eyes can disappear.
Yeah, they can disappear. Good. See, Nerds Engaged said, "Hey Clarke," and then also follows it up with, "Hey Sam." All right, so we did it, guys. Clarke, give me one more shot here of your project, where they can find it, everything.
Fiends Giving, starring Samm Levine and not Rafe Fiennes, we are crowdfunding now. Please visit Indiegogo.com and search Fiends Giving, or go FIENDS Giving, or go to my social or Sam's social. We have tons of we've got some really great backer rewards. It's all interactive. It's all giving you an inside look on how to make a movie. And one of our backer rewards is playing trivia with Sam and I. We are crowdfunding until December 31st. If you can't contribute financially, please share with your friends, your cinephile friends, people who you think would love this.
Yes.
And as part of that fundraiser, Sam and I are doing a live stream this Saturday, the 14th, at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. You can click on my YouTube username and subscribe. We will go live from there.
I love that. And Spidey Sensei 72 asks, can you have Clarke on more often? No mention of Sam here, but can you have Clarke more often? Love seeing her on your show. I would love to. Clarke and I have actually talked about that a couple different times. And are you coming back to New York at all?
No plans as of now, but you're my first call.
Yeah, it was an easy ride to.
It was awesome. I had a great time doing it.
It was good. Okay. Hello, Nerds Engaged. Nice to see you also. Oh, more people are coming in here. You guys, you guys are getting close to.
They really want us to win.
They want us to win.
Roxy's at 65. And you guys are at 64. Well, you already beat Roca. So they just said Dart 005, suck at Roca. And then they said, Top Dog Rig, please get them back on the show again. Kristian, love you guys. Nerds Engaged says, later, chat. Thanks for the great show. Ed Haskell says, F Roca, just kidding. Thanks, gang. And Gaylord of the Ring says, any love for Kinds of Kindness or Love Lies Bleeding, which just puts you over Roxy. You guys are now in the lead. Going into now it's Steph and Mike who have an opportunity to take you guys out tomorrow. So that's really awesome. Thanks. And Sam, Clarke promoted everything you got going on, but you got anything else going on that you want to promote?
There's a film I did that got released earlier this year. It's called City of Dreams.
Okay.
And it is on streaming now. It's on Amazon and iTunes, I think. And I've been talking about this film for a while. It took a good number of years to get it all finished. But it's truly a very serious movie about human trafficking.
Okay.
And I play a pretty terrible guy in it. I play one of the business end of the American side of human trafficking. And it was a very different role for me in a very different type of film for me. And it is out there, and I would hope people seek it out. I think it's worth taking a look at. Jason Patrick is also in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's very serious stuff. And like I said, a very different turn for me. So I kind of hope people see that. But
too.
On to the next thing. I want to make this movie with Clarke.
I love that. And Top Talk Rig trying to get everybody to get to Roxy's. Roxy hates the number 69, but and then the Jaw. Artie, take a shower, which puts us at 69. And perfect. There we go. Now we'll close it out. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Clarke, Samm, it was a pleasure having you guys on the show. Can't wait to hear more about the project. Get you guys on again as we even get closer. And that's it. So thank you guys for being here. I just promoted Brett Sheridan's link that he's got going on. He has a live stream that's happening right now. He wants you guys to join. So jump on over there. And PLD closing it out saying Love Lies Bleeding, another great Ed Harris performance. He should be in Fiends Giving. Yes, he should. And check out Brett's stream, please. And thank you guys. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Check out the Clips channel. Thanks to our wonderful sponsors. Thank you to Samm and Clarke for being on the show. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.